guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, D-Day Was Today, I Never Thought I'd Be Here. And this story is about a guy who ultimately kicks his fiancée to the curb after she cheated on him with her coworker. Unfortunately, you're going to see it takes this guy going through a lot of BS to realize that it has to come to that. You're going to see, guys, that he is 28 and she's 24. They've been together for 5 years and they're engaged to be married. And they have a 1-year-old child. And he discovers one day that she cheated with her coworker and claims it was only a one-night thing, but finds out it was unprotected, you know what, and all that. And this guy is, because he is more into the relationship than her, which is a bad place for a guy to be because it means that she has all the power, he tries to lay out terms to have in order for him to stay with her. Well, these terms, she pretty much, through her actions, says F you. And there's all this drama and BS, and you're going to see how it goes. And there's very important lessons in this story, guys. How pretty much, in relationships, whoever the relationship matters the least to has the power. And in this situation, the power is with her. And it's never a good place for a guy. And also, once a cheater, always a cheater. And how, when somebody doesn't really care about you, and you're trying to force things, it never works out. But fortunately, at least in the end, this guy will redeem himself. But this guy sadly learns the hard way, which a lot of guys do in these stories. And this, for you guys watching, will only back up a lot of things I talk about, and you'll see as I go on in this story. So, it starts off, he says, my fiancée, a 24-year-old female, and I have been together for about 5 years. After months of her seeming annoyed, distant, and somewhat secretive with her phone, red flag there, I finally pried out of her today that she had a one-night stand with her coworker, unprotected in the back of a effing car. To say I'm devastated lacks justice. We have a son who turns 1 tomorrow, and he's the light of my life. I'm so terrified of what his life will be like, not ever knowing how his parents were when we were together. Well, maybe that's a good thing, given she's a piece of trash. And the first thing I'm thinking about, guys, when he says they have a 1-year-old son is DNA test. To make it simple, I'll lay out some things that I have done. I've already had a hunch something was wrong for so long, and I had terms of reconciliation already made in case that's the route I wanted to go. Well, if you sense something was going on, sense red flags, because this guy's not dumb, why weren't you acting upon it? He mentioned she was distant and being difficult and all that. She left. She left for half the day, and I told her to come back so we could attempt to see if she was willing to put in the work to try and salvage our relationship. The terms were, now listen to the terms that she has to abide by for him to give her a second chance. Number 1, she personally calls the affair partner's wife and tells her what happened. Number 2, she tells her mother and father what she did to me and our family. Number 3, she has spyware placed on her phone until I feel that it is no longer necessary. Number 4, she cuts contact with the affair partner and any other man she may have been talking to. He says, I know of one she casually talks to but recently found out. Number 5, she is to do one of the following. A, switch jobs completely. B, find a new job. Or C, switch departments completely. And 6, she will explain in detail what happened leading up to and during this affair. She'll be honest and truthful about any other affairs. If there's any hint of trickle, truthing, or dishonesty, there will be no reconciliation. Okay, so you heard all his terms. Now, do you think someone that doesn't give a crap and who has all the power in a relationship is going to abide by all these things? No freaking way. Not at all. I watched how this whole thing plays out. How her actions tell this guy everything he needs to know. What this guy should have done is said, we're done. Done and over with. After he himself took an STD test, making sure he didn't catch anything from her, and her had her doing as well. And obviously a DNA test on his son. We're done. Moving on. Hey, we're not married yet, so fortunately that makes things a lot less difficult, and things can be worked out with custody of the child. But to stay with someone like this, and you see through her actions how she treats him, but some guys have to learn the hard way. But I will say this. This could happen to any guy. Unfortunately, it could, especially nowadays. And good guys this happens to, and they do want to do their best to make it work, but they learn it doesn't. She read the letter and terms that said she wouldn't do the first, didn't want to feel like she was in jail, etc. I told her the terms were non-negotiable. I will wait for an answer from her tomorrow before I start looking into what needs to be done for the custody of our son. I would say you're going to follow all these. or we're done. There's no, I want to do this or I don't want to do that. No, you're going to do them all. And I wouldn't give her a day to think about it. I'd say, you're going to decide in 5 seconds. And I'm going to count down. At the end of those 5 seconds, if you're not going to abide by these, because I'm actually giving you a second chance here, then we're done. That's what I would do. But let me rephrase that. I wouldn't give her a second chance. I know better. But that's what I think this guy should have done. It needs to be said that I really do love this woman. Smack. She doesn't love you. Beyond words, I'm hurt and angry. I kept my cool through this entire process, which was hard, but I did. She accepted what she did was wrong, but I just don't feel remorse yet. It's really hard to say, but I feel like she was too scared to leave, so she did this to make me force her out. Who knows? But notice he doesn't feel like there's any remorse there. Again, trust your instincts. I'm having trouble not focusing on the thoughts and images of another man with her. I don't know him, but I did find his Facebook, and say he is far more cut and built than I am is an understatement. She's cheating with a chatter Tyrone. I feel so less, and so much so that she doesn't know yet, and I may not even bring myself to touch her again because I feel I will always be in the shadow of the night she threw it all away. I guess if anyone can help here, I'd appreciate it. Any advice is appreciated. Here's the advice. Dump the a-hole. That's the advice, okay? You've been together for 5 years. You're about to be married. Sadly, consider the silver lining here, the dodged a bullet that you're learning about this before getting married. You know, the universe gave you this, so get out. Because someone like this, you can't trust her. And he said I'm always going to imagine him with her. And that's what happens to these guys. He's always going to question what she's doing on that phone when she's out supposedly out with coworkers or a business meeting. And do you really think she's going to go along all the terms he set to someone who doesn't give a crap? No way. If he had all the leverage, then you bet your butt she would be doing everything on his list to make him happy and stay with her. Nope. She doesn't give a shit. Now for his update as to how this whole thing plays out. He says there, we've been working on reconciliation. Smack. Not going to work. She refused to quit her job or at least change shifts to be completely off a schedule that we would work together. Shocker. She still refuses to this day. She would tell me that she doesn't talk to him and that they do not work in the same departments. None of any of that puts me at ease. The nights she was at work have been absolute hell for me. I can't sleep. My adrenaline runs nonstop. I constantly text her and ask who she's with. I want her to prove it, etc., etc. That is no way to have a relationship with someone, let alone someone you're engaged to be married. Right there. He can't sleep. He's always thinking about it. It's done. End of story. But these guys have to learn the hard way. At least you guys, for your relationship guys, you can learn through these stories to not make the same mistakes these guys do. There's a benefit to this. It's that. A couple weeks ago, I found a book that was something along the lines of X Steps to Power. And after briefly reading the back, I realized it was essentially a book that aims to give its readers the tools needed to manipulate people. I knew this was something she would never read, so I asked her where it came from, and she said her affair partner. Well, clearly it is something she would read because she is an a-hole and manipulating you and taking advantage of your kindness and goodness and cheating on you. But you see how he just refuses to see her in another way? That's another problem these guys have. They hold on to what they thought that she was. He's in love with. A lot of these guys are in love with the idea of the girl they're with, when they just can't accept that she's a lying, sneaky, cheating snake. I told her I would throw it away for her, and she stopped me and said she would have her work friend give it back to him. I just shut down. I was so tired of having to explain to her that she shouldn't concern herself with her affair partner. He's going through a divorce and probably losing everything he's worked for with his wife because of what they did. I'm sure the absolute last thing he was worried about was a $25 book, but she just had to make sure he got it back. Pay attention to her actions. She cares more about him than her husband. Or fiancé. She went to work that week, and following when it was done with her work week, I asked her to leave. I told her that it doesn't feel at all like she wants to put forth the effort and the work of reconciliation, and I need some space to think about things. Good, you're finally moving in the right direction here. Not quite all the way in the right direction, but enough. Yeah, her actions are telling you everything. She doesn't give a shit. It was essentially a separation under the understanding we were not split up yet. She agreed and left the following day. During the discussion, she was very, very upset, and I explained the book thing and how she wouldn't quit her job, and she said she understood. She also told me that her affair partner had told her friend from work and that he was upset with her telling me everything. I kind of scoffed and said it should be pretty telling what he thinks of you if that's true. He's mad at her for telling her husband. Sounds to me this chick likes drama. Likes to be caught right in the middle of drama. Last time I checked, all women like drama. Some a little bit, some a whole lot. They're right in the center of the storm. The following days were extremely tough for me. I had waves of anger, waves of resentment, and the obvious questions of, is she talking to him? Is she talking to someone else? Aside from all the feeling of missing her, and most of all my son, was extremely difficult. When she left, I cried and cried while holding my boy. I felt like I'd never see him again, and the days following were the feeling times 100. I asked her to come back after a week. I'd hoped I could start moving forward in a positive manner, and I tried. Things were okay. We were intimate. I still felt like I wanted to be intimate for the wrong reasons, and she also felt that way. Yeah, it's not right anymore. And he was with her for 5 years, so of course he's not going to get over her overnight. Okay, it's just not how it works. The longer you're with somebody, even if they were a shithead to you in the end, you're still, because you remember the good times or what you thought were the good times. It takes time. Emotional roller coaster. All these dudes go through this. Fast forward to about a few days ago, I was feeling so disrespected and angry about her not quitting her job or getting her STD testing done. She refuses to quit her job. She refuses to tell the affair partner, but he obviously found affair partner's wife, but she found out anyway. Refused to get the STD test, even though having unprotected SCX. Does this sound like a guy with a lot of leverage here? She doesn't give a shit. He should have said, "You do that, or we're done." But this guy, she obviously knew this guy was bluffing. I thought to myself, if it was the one time and she told me through guilt she felt and the fear of losing me, I could forgive and move on. But no, it was 3 more times when she went back. 3 more times where she left me at home with her son and didn't care about me or my love. I also found out she was in his home, and before that time, and before I had found out, I sat her down and told her if she wasn't happy, I wouldn't hate her for leaving. This conversation happened in the middle of her affair. We cried and she told me that she didn't want to leave and that she loved me and wanted to stay. She wants to stay with this guy because this guy, no doubt, is a sure thing. He can help pay the bills and resources and all that. After I gave her a chance to leave, she didn't and still went out a week or 2 later and slept with him. If that isn't the most disrespectful kick in the teeth I've ever gotten, I don't know what is. See, this guy just has to... Some guys have to go through so much shit to wake up and realize what these gals are like. So we headed out. She said that she, again, won't quit and that she figured since I got tested and was clear she didn't need to. I told her it was those conditions or she needed to leave. Again, he's trying to lay down the law with someone who doesn't give a shit. You don't have the power, my man. She does, because you care more. You gotta have the self-respect, and he'll end this right. Don't worry, guys. I know some of you guys are ready to pull your hair out here, but this could happen to any of you guys watching this. It devolves into the same type of situation where she left and we were still together. So Friday she asked me to stay for dinner at her mom's before taking our son back to my house. I did, and things were good. She seemed happy to me and seemed like she wanted to be affectionate with me. Later we had some alone time and we talked. I asked her to make sure that we were not seeing other people. She said she didn't want to, but threw in some wording that for her, if it happened, it happened. Oh my God, they're separated, trying to work on things, and he's saying we're not going to see other people, and she's like, well, if it happens, it happens. Meaning, I don't give a shit. She knows this guy. Her perception is that this guy will not go away, that she can do what she wants and he'll still stay. See what happens when women think that, when guys let women think through their words or actions that they're not going anywhere no matter what? The women are like, okay, asshole. That stung me more than I thought. She said that she wanted to continue to stay at her mom's to find herself, and she's enjoying her independence and has considered looking into getting her own place. Wow, what a great future wife, huh? I told her that was a very different thing than what was happening now, and she said she knew. I also expressed that I was not okay with seeing other people, and if that ever happened, we needed to tell each other so we knew it was over. It is over, dude. It's been over. I took my boy and headed home, and it didn't bother me as much. It didn't hurt and stick with me like I thought. I missed her. I shot one last shot after I laid my son down for bed to see if I could find an ounce of her truly showing me that she wants to chase me and not the other way around, and I didn't get it. You think? She's been communicating all along that you're not important to her. So last night I went out with some friends and I generally had a great night. I didn't think about her. I didn't concern myself with what was happening while I wasn't around. I was just lost in the chatter catching with people. I hadn't spent quality time in years. Aha, now we're getting somewhere. Hang out with your bros. Isn't that amazing how much better he feels all of a sudden? But already you can see it creeping up. He's starting to lose interest in her. And that's good. And he said he hasn't hung out with the bros in years. This is a classic mistake guys do. Nice guys do this. They cut ties with their buddies. They stop doing the things they enjoy to spend all the time with the girl because that's, of course, what the narrative says to do. That's what the girls say they want the guy to do. But when the guy does all that, gives up all his friends, gives up all his hobbies and interests, gives up his goals to make her happy, doesn't make her happy, turns her off. Meanwhile, do you think the bad boys, the guys that these gals chase after, do you think they give up their bros? Hell no. Do you think they give up their hobbies and interests? Hell no. Do you think that they would choose between the choice of hanging out with their girl that night or hanging out with their bros or doing something for their goals or purpose or their hobbies? Who are they going to ditch? The girl. That's what the guys have to do. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. And if you're a relationship guy, you can't give up your bros, you can't give up your hobbies and stuff. You can still be good to your girl as long as she's good to you. But you never stop being that guy. Otherwise, they lose interest. I know I'm talking a lot here, guys, but this story is a really good one with good teaching points because I know a lot of you guys come here to learn shit as well as being entertained. Last night, I realized I don't deserve to give any more of myself to the person I give everything I had to. I don't deserve to wonder every night, and I don't deserve to feel so wrong about something that was not my fault. Hallelujah, brother. About time. She has had a lot of very bad things happen to her in her past year and a half, with her best friend and oldest brother passing away. I don't doubt or discredit she was not in the best headspace, but I'm tired of people using that as an excuse for what she did to me and our family. You're damn freaking right. It's life. People die. It's unfortunate, but you have to move on. You can't just go sabotaging the good things in your life and using that as an excuse. That's bullshit. And newsflash, more and more people she knows in life are going to die or get sick or move away or something. The biggest theme in life is that nothing's permanent, okay? That's why you don't have attachments, because everything you're attached to will disappear in your life at some point. There's no excuse for this, so I told her I was done. I laid down some ground rules for co-parenting, and we are having a discussion about custody with our son soon. I have no desire for a nasty battle with her, and I genuinely feel she does not either. My son deserves to be with his mother, all the same as me, and that's not something I will try and take away from her so long as she doesn't with me. I'm going to hope that she's good with the one-year-old boy, because yeah, sure, he needs his mother, as long as she is a good mother to that boy. But if she's a freaking wacko and behaves towards the son like she does to his husband here, then no freaking way. I'm currently still looking for a good counselor. I live in a very rural area, and unless I want to drive a lot, I may have to go to a different route via online or something of that sort. Today has been so good. My son and I have been playing trucks together. He's shown me how good he can get up and down off the furniture, and he's also trying to talk and keeps trying to say fishy, because he's a bunch of little toys that are magnetic fish with a little fishing pole he loves to play with. Cool. Some father-son time. Playing trucks. Playing trucks was awesome with my dad when I was a little kid. I am financially very fucked. I have a lot to figure out to be able to maintain my lifestyle and keep my house. Bankruptcy is something that is on the table, but I don't plan on going that route unless I absolutely have to. Dude, avoid that at all costs if you can. That's the last step. Yes, you can recover, but your credit's going to be decimated for years. But, I mean, I'll get back to that later. We were never overextended by any means, but after taking my dream job, I also took a substantial pay cut to start. And I trusted her enough to give up my financial freedom with her help to pursue my dream, and it burned me. I won't quit the job. I'll figure something out. It's times like these I wish I was like Pip from Great Expectations and had some mysterious benefactor to help. But that's not the real world. That's not how that works. No, dude, it's not. Also to add, I've decided against a paternity test for my son. Even if he wasn't mine, he is mine and always will be. He's one of the biggest factors to help me move forward, and I love him so much to let the possibility of her hurting me more by finding out he's not my blood to even consider what I would do after finding that out. I'd like to sincerely thank all of you who have given words of advice or more words of encouragement. Those of you who reached out to PM me, thank you for your support. I'm excited to see what the future holds. I still have my bad days. I still have days I miss her, but I feel like I've made the first big step in moving forward and starting my life over. Well, bro, many, many, many times along this story, he should have ended it, but he obviously had to go through enough crap to make him realize who she really is. But thank the Lord, he's cut ties with her, and that's it. It's over, and it better stay that way. And all I can say is this, guys, like I said, the lessons of the story is, once a cheater, always a cheater. What happens when your girl, or whoever, in any relationship, whoever the relationship matters more to, has the least amount of power. But whoever matters least to, they have the power. In this story, she has all the power because the relationship matters so much more to him. And you don't want to be in a relationship with a gal who just, could take you or leave you. It's not going to go well. And someone that has no integrity, no anything like that, it's not a good person to be in a relationship with. Because I know I got a lot of relationship guys here. And remember, look how he laid out all those terms. You want a second chance with me? You got to do all these things, 6 different things. She was just like, F you. Why? Because she doesn't give a shit, you know? And she's 24, and she had a kid. I'm sure even after having a kid, she's obviously good looking enough that she can get dudes. My prediction is that this guy will move on. It'll be hard, but he will, because it seems like that was it. It was the final straw. But she'll be back. Guaranteed she'll be back looking for a second chance and pull the old, we're both parents to this child together. Let's give it a second chance. And I hope like hell he doesn't do it. I'm going to have hope for this guy. He doesn't do this. But what this guy needs to do is take it one day at a time, focus on himself, taking care of his boy. I would recommend he do everything he can to avoid going into bankruptcy, because I'll decimate his credit for years. Yes, it can be repaired, sure, but he mentioned he had a job. He took on his dream job at a substantial pay cut. Well, reality is setting in, brother. In the situation, you got to take care of your boy, which means you need to go back to a better paying job so you don't lose your house and decimate your credit. And you can then keep up, because let's be honest, the more money he makes, the better life he can provide for his son. And that means making a sacrifice for his boy. So if it means he can't do his dream job for now, then so be it. Go on to a better paying job that he's qualified for, make more money, live cheap, because men can live cheap, and that way then you can then take care of your boy and all that, and maybe one day go back to the dream job when you have enough money saved up. Or if he can keep his dream job and find a way to avoid bankruptcy and keep the house, great, but just live real cheap. I hope it works out for him, and I think it will. But he'll get over it in time. He just cannot make the same mistakes like this again and not get involved with a gal who obviously doesn't give a shit about him. And but you can also tell, obviously this guy's a nice guy, because he gave up his buddies, didn't hang out with them for years and all that, amongst other things. I've connected the dots here and I pieced things together. You can't be that way with a girl. I don't know if he's going to see this, but the guys out there watching this, you relationship guys, you have to keep being the same guy you were before you started dating her and while you're in the relationship with her. Because a lot of guys, they had a life before her. They had bros they hung out with. They did things. They had hobbies and interests that they actively did, whether it was playing sports, hitting the gym, playing guitar, whatever the hell they like. And slowly but surely they start dropping all those things to spend more time with her, because they think that's what she wants, because that's what TV and movies tell the guy. And then one day she ends up losing interest in him, breaking up with him, and saying, "You're not the same guy anymore. You changed." And he's like, "What do you mean? I did it all for you." Even though she claims she wanted that. You got to keep being that same guy. And they will fight you on it, but you can't cave. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. And they end up hooking up with guys that are just like the guys they say they don't want. See how much you can learn from these stories, guys? That's why I do this. So I wish this guy all the best. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about all these lessons in this particular story. Share any comments about things you may have experienced in this department. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.